Hello, if you are watching my video means that you are preparing your California real estate salesperson exam. I was recently licensed in California. After finishing 3 courses online, I took the crash courses and practice exams for 2 months. Believe or not, I only studied 3,245 Q&A I got from crash courses. Now, I will share all of them with you. Good luck on your studying. Tips: do 50 questions a day and then all the questions that you missed go over and review them again until you fully understand. 1. If a licensee placed the following ad in a newspaper, which of the following would describe the ad? 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool and spa, large lot, $165,000. 8913731. This is false advertising. B. This is misleading advertising. C. This violates regulations. D. This is blind advertising. Correct answer is D. Since this ad has no wording in it which indicates that it was placed by an agent rather than an owner, it would be considered blind advertising. 2. It is proper business practice for real property managers to be compensated in all of the following ways, except a percentage of gross receipts. B. Commission on new leases. C. Commission on major repairs or alterations. D. Receipt of discounts on purchases or supplies. Correct answer is D. The Institute of Real Estate Management (IREM) recommends that property managers refrain from taking discounts or commissions arising out of purchases, contracts, or other expenditures of clients' funds, unless such income is fully disclosed to the property owner and accepted with his permission. 3. When budgeting for a real estate office, the phrase company dollar means the money required to establish an office and run it for a given period of time. B. The income of an office after all expenses are subtracted. C. The income of an office after all commissions are subtracted. D. None of the above. Correct answer is C. The company dollar refers to the amount left over after all commissions are subtracted. 4. In which of the following ways could an agency relationship not be created? Implied contract. B. Oral contract. C. Written contract. D. Voluntary offer by the agent. Correct answer is D. In order for an agency to be created, there must be an agreement between both parties, not just an offer by one. 5. A broker would not be required to maintain trust records in which of the following transactions? A. A check promptly delivered to escrow. B. A check promptly delivered to seller. C. A check promptly delivered to the seller that was given as a deposit in an offer to purchase containing a contingency clause. D. None of the above. Correct answer is D. A broker is always required to maintain trust records. He is not required to maintain a trust fund account. 6. In estimating the value of a parcel of real property, an appraiser considers the value of which of the following? A bundle of rights. B. Utility. C. Physical land and the improvements thereon. D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. The appraiser must consider all factors which might affect the value of the subject property. Certainly the utility, the usability, of the property is important, and so is the value of the specific rights that are included in the bundle of rights. 7. The word broker and realtor are A. Interchangeable. B. Different categories of membership in NAR. C. Different titles offered by separate professional organizations. D. Unrelated. A broker is a real estate licensee and a realtor is a member of NAR. Correct answer is D. Brokers are licensed by their state. Realtors are voluntary members of the NAR, a trade association. 8. As used in real estate practices, the land of a riparian owner borders on A river, B. a stream, C. a watercourse, D. any of the above. Correct answer is D. A riparian owner owns land bordering on moving water, such as a river, stream and/or watercourse. 9. Avulsion is the sudden removal of land through a violent act of nature. An example of this would be a landslide, b. earthquake, c. hurricane, d. all of the above. Correct answer is D. Avulsion refers to a sudden tearing away of land by a violent act of natural causes like a landslide, an earthquake, or a hurricane. 10. Trust funds received by the broker must be placed into the hands of the owners of the funds, into a neutral escrow depository, or into a maintained trust account not later than blank business days following receipt of the funds by the broker. 44, B, 22, C, 33, D, 55. Correct answer is C. A typical trust fund transaction begins with the broker or salesperson receiving trust funds from a principal in connection with the purchase or lease of a real property. Trust funds received must be placed into the hands of the owners of the funds, into a neutral escrow depository, or into a maintained trust account not later than 3 business days following receipt of the funds by the broker or the broker's salesperson. 11. The initial step a licensee takes to sell a property is to a. Verify the subject property's title, b. Obtain a listing contract with the seller, c. Accept a deposit from the seller, d. Accept an earnest money from the buyer. Correct answer is B. The initial step a real estate licensee takes in selling real estate is to secure a listing contract with the seller. All real estate transactions start off from one type or another of listing contracts. A listing, in general, is a temporary employment contract wherein the seller employs a licensee to perform a specific job for the seller. 12. Generally, straight notes are blank notes made for short terms and are renewable at the end of the term. Interest only, b. Non-amortized, c. Neither A nor B, d. Both A and B. Correct answer is D. A straight note is usually a non-amortized note, also referred to as an interest-only loan, made for a short term and is renewable at the end of the term. 13. A percentage lease can be described by all of the following except a. It is a lease on a property wherein rental is dictated by the business done by the lessee. B. It is a lease on a property with provision for a minimum rental. C. It is a lease on a property in which rental is usually a percentage of gross receipts from the business. D. None of the above. Correct answer is D. Percentage lease is a lease on a property, the rental for which is dictated by the amount of business done by the lessee, typically a percentage of gross receipts from the business with provision for a minimum rental. 14. Property tax year begins on July 1st and ends on the next June 30th. The second installment becomes delinquent if not paid by A. February 10th, B. April 10th, C. June 10th, D. December 10th. Correct answer is B. The property tax year starts on July 1st and ends the following June 30th. The property tax year is based on a fiscal year, rather than a calendar year. The second installment for the remaining half payment of the annual property tax is due on February 1st and delinquent if not paid by April 10th. 15. A real property appraiser would generally describe subjective value as value that is established on an owner's desire and need for a property. Subjective value is particularly known as A. Utility value, B. Objective value, C. Insurable value, D. Assessed value. Correct answer is A. A property's utility value is the value that is aimed at the particular use of said property. Utility value is commonly called subjective value. 16. Broker Davis has had a house listed for sale for 9 months without selling it. He knows that the building needs major structural repairs, and he has listed it at 10% above its fair market value. He runs an advertisement in a newspaper that says, 3-bedroom, Victorian. You won't believe the price. Move right in. Davis, 8913731. This advertisement is bad because it is unethical to advertise a property that is overpriced. B. If someone buys the house on the basis of the advertisement, the publisher could be held liable. C. Since Davis knows that the property needs major repairs, it is deceptive and misleading. D. It doesn't tell the asking prices required by Regulation Z. Correct answer is C. When a building needs major structural repairs, it is misleading to advertise it as being in move-in condition. 17. A real estate agent may legally represent all principals in the same transaction if a. He has informed all principals that he is the agent for each principal. B. He has obtained consent of all to this agency relationship. C. He is collecting commission from each principal with the knowledge of the others. D. All of the above conditions exist. Correct answer is D. A real estate agent may only represent all principals in the same transaction if he has obtained their knowledge and consent. In this case, he could then collect a commission from all parties. 18. When the public records have been examined in order to determine the chain of title to a parcel of real property, a written summary of that chain of title is known as an abstract of title. B. An extended coverage title insurance policy. C. An affidavit of title. D. None of the above. Correct answer is an abstract is a summary or digest of information, hence, the summary concerning the chain of title is known as an abstract of title. 19. When an owner refuses to pay the broker an earned commission, the broker may properly seek relief by filing a statutory vendor's lien. B. Filing a formal complaint with the California Bureau of Real Estate. C. Bringing a court action. D. Any of the above. Correct answer is C. The broker would have to sue the owner for the commission. He is not a vendor, so he cannot file a vendor's lien, and the California Bureau of Real Estate does not settle commission disputes. 20. According to the law of agency, an agent is generally held to have the imputed authority of his principal when dealing with third parties. That imputed authority, A. includes power of attorney, B. always binds the principal to terms negotiated on his behalf, C. usually binds the principal if within the scope of authority granted to the agent, D. implies a fiduciary obligations to third parties. Correct answer is C. In this case, the agent's imputed authority is essentially his or her apparent authority. If the other party had a reasonable expectation that the agent was acting within his or her authority, then the principal would be bound by the agent's actions. The best description of this is Choi. 21. When a broker deposits his own personal or business funds in a client trust fund account, that act is termed A violation of a trust fund security, B. padding, C. conversion, D. commingling. Correct answer is D. To commingle means to mix together. The broker is guilty of commingling if he does mix his funds with those of his client. 22. Which of the following transactions do you not need a real estate license to do? A property owner selling his home. B. A person offering to sell real estate on behalf of another. C. A person purchasing real estate at an auction on behalf of another. D. A person offering to lease real estate on behalf of another. Correct answer is A. A property owner does not need to have a real estate license to sell his own home. A license is required for all of the other activities. 23. The revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted is called net income. B. Gross income. C. Operating income. D. Revenue positive. Correct answer is B. Gross income is the revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted. Net income is gross income minus all expenses. Operating income is gross income minus operating expenses. Correct answer is B. Gross income is the revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted. Net income is gross income minus all expenses. Operating income is gross income minus operating expenses. 24. Which department issues variances and special use permits? Architectural Review Board. B. Zoning Board of Appeals. C. Planning Department. D. Building Department. Correct answer is B. The Zoning Board of Appeals issues variances and they also interpret zoning regulations. An Architectural Review Board protects a neighborhood's historic building designs. The board typically seeks to maintain an area's beauty and unique characteristics. The review board is comprised of people possessing significant experience in architecture or art. Planning Commission is a recognized agency that hears zoning appeals related to challenging a denial of a requested exception to a zoning law. A building department issues building permits, inspects properties for compliance with building regulations and issues a certificate of occupancy once the inspector confirms that the building was completed in compliance with the building code. 25. The improper mixing of a broker's personal and business funds is called earnest money mixing. B. Commingling. C. Associated funding. D. Escrowing. Correct answer is B. Commingling is the improper mixing of a broker's personal and business funds. It is not permitted. An earnest money deposit is the deposit that accompanies the buyer's offer to purchase and is part of the contract. An escrow account contains money held for another party. Earnest money deposits are usually held in an escrow account.